Hey guys, welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast. We got the three amigos back in the action.
Back again.
What up, everybody?
Big shout out to our man over on the side. He's back. He's back in the saddle. Say hi.
I'm ready to go again.
When I get the fresh cut, looking
Yeah, I know.
shit, I look like a bum. God, Eric looks like a pirate.
Oh, it's good to have you back, buddy.
Oh,
Yeah, it's good to be back, man. Missed it.
We
It's been a little too long for me.
Get the itch.
Yeah.
We did our best to try to like bridge things over, and
We'll probably get terrible reviews. I guarantee, especially because we were talking about some, touchy subjects that we're getting nuked.
So what we're gonna do tonight, though, is if you have been listening to us for a while, you'll know that our first episode that we ever did was the moon
That we ever
landing.
published.
That we ever
That we
published.
published, yeah.
Correct. True.
But it's also the most popular one, right?
That's right. It's
It
our
is.
number one listened to episode that
And man, it was
we've had.
we re-listened to it. It was terrible.
Terrible.
So bad.
Terrible.
It was actually terrible.
Terrible. So the
Terrible,
sound
but great.
quality was
I
wild.
love the little arguments we had.
We were just yelling at each other, and it was like
I called you. Pretty sure I called you both children at one point.
Yeah.
Because we were like arguing about. I think it was about like VHS tapes in space or something along those lines. You both are children, idiot, because you were agreeing.
So what we decided to do was a follow-up and a part 2. And this is the moon landing hoax or
Potential hoax. Possibly, maybe.
part 2. So as always, if you have not listened to episode 1,
Highly
scroll
recommend.
all the
go
way
all
down.
the way down.
All the way down.
What is that, 18 months ago?
Well, what you can do if you just go like sort by oldest.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
that's a faster way.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Oh yeah.
I was scrolling. I was searching.
I was
searching.
I was doing it on the desktop. So.
Oh, okay.
Easy peasy.
So in part 1, we went over the history of the Mercury program, the Gemini program, and the Apollo program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I was very astounded there were so many programs. And
I know.
no fucking
Yeah.
no clue.
Yeah.
Me and Jorge were very convinced that there
Yeah.
was one moon landing or two moon
Possible two.
maybe two.
So what we're going to do, we're not going to go over those programs again. So go back, like we said, listen to those about the history of those programs. And tonight's episode, we're going to go over the main arguments and conspiracy theories and see if we can debunk those.
Like a couple of that we missed?
Yes,
or
correct.
Okay.
We missed them. And
'Cause
we
we
just
did go over
argued,
some.
we
Well,
argued incessantly
kinda.
about like a
It was
photo.
about
a flag.
film.
Yes, exactly. So I was like, okay, good. So Rogan has gone over all of these different things. He's done like 7 episodes just on the moon landing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And there's it kind of persists. And I was like, okay, well, we didn't
Touch on everything.
nail it.
No.
Yeah, and we didn't nail it in the coffin.
we've solved quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can solve some of the main things that keep
We were
persisting.
like baby podcasters back then.
Yeah,
didn't know
exactly.
what
Yeah.
we were doing.
Yeah.
We didn't know what
Now
we
we
were doing.
know.
We should actually we should take photos of like the equipment we used.
Oh,
It was like we put up some of the old photos.
it looks like the moon landing.
I mean, we have the same tech.
Yeah, you see the little thing
The whole,
with the
like,
fucthey
battery
the cord.
Remember
Yeah.
you used to run out of batteries.
Yeah, you have to crank it.
It's like a flash
go.
bulb.
Yeah. Anyway, so I know Rogan has gone over this and that sort of thing,
Yeah,
but
but fuck Rogan.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, top podcast of the world.
Okay, so a
Have
lot of
fun, Rogan,
this,
I love you.
yeah. So a lot of this stuff is going to be taken from some of the transcripts of Rogan's episodes and who he interviewed,
I know he's got the good guests
as
So
well.
can-
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got that big money, you got
I know.
you got the things.
I had Buzz Aldrin on the
Yeah.
podcast.
Also, in addition to that, I took some of the episode or some of the topics we went over in the episode, and if we didn't find a conclusion to them,
We're going to bring them back.
Oh, and the new.
we're gonna
and the-
rebreathe.
Live.
All right.
Yes,
Live.
exactly. So there you go. Take it for as we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
right.
Okay, so the first part is in the last episode. We went over the no stars in the sky,
Oh, that's what we were fighting about.
and that was a good
And then
20
Eric
minutes.
was like, "Well, it's during the day."
yeah,
And then
I'll go to the beach with you if you want to go to the beach, and la 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 la. Okay,
I'm like
good.
getting
So
angry.
I researched why, like from a
Scientific.
scientific viewpoint of why I was right.
Of course.
You agreed with him, Jorge.
Yeah,
Like, shut up.
I know he did.
I know. One of the very few times.
So the point being is, why are there no? Here is the concept. Why are there no stars in the sky of the photos taken on the moon?
Yeah.
Remember that whole?
Yeah, like the
conversation?
background's just pitch black.
Yeah, this is black.
And so I looked into it, and this is what I found out. The absence of stars in the moon landing photos is due to the camera exposure settings used by the astronauts. The surface of the moon, illuminated by the sun, was extremely bright.
So they had to dumb it the fuck down.
That's right, as were the astronaut suits and the lunar module. To capture these bright objects clearly, the cameras had to be set with a fast shutter speed and low sensitivity to light.
Okay. Yeah,
This meant that-
otherwise it would be like,
Yeah. This meant that the faint light from the stars wasn't picked up in the photos as it was too dim compared to the brightly lit lunar surface. Essentially, the cameras were optimized to photograph the well-lit moon, not much the stars.
Yeah.
Yeah?
makes sense.
The stars were still there. They didn't disappear.
I mean, that does make sense though from the perspective
Yeah.
like if something is so bright, you
Yeah.
have to like adjust. Like obviously our phones adjust for us, and like they'll.
Or like it's happened the opposite. Like if you stand in front of a window where the sun's like coming in too much,
Yeah.
you take a picture of that person and the person's black, but everything else is
Yeah.
like super white. You know?
And it's like, for example, you ever like with our phones nowadays, like I said, it auto adjusts. Like if I take a picture in the
That's
deck,
right.
it puts the exposure so
Yeah.
like so high, so it's all potential light is getting sucked into the lens.
Yeah.
So like a photo may look like it's not at night, but it's so good at like just like opening up the lens, like here, give us all the light possible.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So there you go. Debunked. I was right, and they were wrong.
One of Sean's argument in the last one is he kept talking about how is it possible to take a picture in care to
We can
expand
move
on
on.
that? No.
Yeah.
Sean?
I'm not expanding on that. I just want to move the.
Okay, we're moving on.
Okay, so one of the bigger arguments is that the destruction of data and technology.
Oh yeah.
You know?
There's no like, wasn't there like?
Yeah.
Well, I'll just like get into it. I'm like,
But there's even astronauts who said that, and we won't go into names because they're closely related to myself, but that the technology was lost.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And
There's clips if you watch like sometimes you'll if you're like obviously the algo is like giving me all the conspiracy shit because like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
all I scroll through.
Of course.
But there's a lot of videos where they're like, yeah, you know, if we can do like a lot of astronauts saying like things like that, like you know,
Yeah.
hey, if we can get out of orbit or get out like
Right.
making it seem like they can't do it again, and it is kind of odd where they're like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, if we can get out of orbit again, or some like I
Yeah.
forget exactly what they're saying, but it's on the lines of like they can't do it anymore.
Right. Right. So Rogan had a guest on named Bart Sibrel, and they argued that NASA destroyed the original telemetry
Telemetry?
Telemetry.
data, schematics, and videotapes. Now, Jorge is going to tell you a little bit about what telemetry is and what it means.
All right.
And I'm like, hey, baby.
What's up? Here's a code.
So telemetry data,
Yeah.
what it refers to is the information that you're collecting remotely and automatically, and then you're transmitting it from a device or a system to another location, to a central location. Houston,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it says that it's often for monitoring analysis and management purposes. And the data typically includes, things like measurement or statuses of various parameters like temperature or the pressure, speed, the position, all that sort of stuff. So
Yeah.
basically, it's all the data like what was happening on the way there.
And you can imagine
Yeah.
how important that is when you're traveling through space.
Yes.
To know like what worked. We
Yeah.
should do that again. Like,
Yeah.
What didn't work? obviously it'll
Houston,
kill
we have a
people.
problem. Or
Literally,
Houston, we don't. Like,
okay.
we're good.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Bart and Rogan, they claim that it was such a monumental achievement of mankind
Oh, for sure.
that to lose that data would be
That's ridiculous.
absurd.
Yeah.
It's like imagine like losing the guy creates the first computer and everyone's like, what the fuck? And they're like, whoops it is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I forgot how to make that shit.
So, pulling up the information about what that really means was that the notion that NASA destroyed the technology to go to the moon is not totally accurate, which is NASA didn't destroy it, but rather they repurposed it and retired the hardware, and then the hardware that took them to the moon became obsolete. And so then you go on and you progress through technology, and then the old technology just isn't used. So there's nobody alive.
Yeah, but technology doesn't progress.
No, I know, but
without actual progress.
Yeah.
It has to get better.
Here's
They wouldn't do like
That's
a
the
file
definition of
file
progress.
transfer over of like the data.
Well, here's like a parallel.
It progressed, but it regressed.
Let me just tell you a parallel, right?
Progressed backwards.
Yeah.
Progressed into the past.
Let me just tell you a parallel. So you remember in like the 70s where they had computers and it was like it filled the entire room?
Yeah.
So the guy who maybe handles your IT at your company wouldn't know how to run that system.
No, but the thing is, like,
Okay.
they're not talking about how to
Tracking?
run it. They're talking about the data.
Yeah.
And that it was
He would
lost.
I
still
know,
have
but I
the
mean-
data. Like,
maybe.
Why would they? Maybe.
Maybe.
Okay. Imagine this.
No.
Okay. Another practical example.
Yeah.
Let's say your Okay. Let's say like your company uses a particular like ERP software.
okay.
They house all like their sales
Yeah.
or whatever the fuck CRM, ERP, whatever you use.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, cool. We're gonna be migrating to a new one, but we're gonna migrate over without any of the data.
Yeah.
Start
So
from
it's like-
scratch.
so it's like, hey, this system's obsolete. We have a new amazing system, but we're just not going to bring any of the data over from the old one, and we're going to be like, shit,
Makes no sense.
I don't know how to use that old
Yeah.
system, but the data's still sitting there.
Well,
See, how
I mean,
is-
I get what you're saying, but it's like add 40 years. And like no human was alive anymore.
But,
Okay.
What?
No, meaning like you're saying like the data wasn't there, but then all of a sudden, if you add 40 years into the timeline, there's no human that is working there
No,
anymore.
but you're
there's
making it-
there's no
Yeah.
there's no alive
No, but
person.
you're making it
you know?
seem like NASA like just stopped doing anything for 40 years.
I know,
They're
exactly.
Like, shit,
I
turn
mean-
the lights off.
Exactly.
I mean, that's the argument, right?
No, there's no argument there.
No,
Still paying salaries?
no, we didn't go back to the moon. We went to the moon in '72. That was the last time, and then
But they were still shooting rockets and shit. Like, get the data. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
true, yeah, true. So the idea though is that they repurposed.
Yeah, they were doing the fucking. What was the Challenger
they-
fucking mission?
They retired the hardware and it became obsolete. The reason is the
Telemetry. I don't know why I have such a hard time. with this.
the telemetry data and tapes were not preserved in some cases, and it was due to budgetary constraints and the fact that at the time the data was not seen as being historically important.
Oh my!
It's not important.
At the time,
Literally-
it was literally every
JFK 's
American was
like,
watching.
This is the most important thing.
Not even
Yes.
kidding. And this is from NASA. Many of the recordings were taped over to save the money.
Did you record over my over my chair?
Sorry, babe. I recorded over the MASH tapes. So, like, also, like the budget restraints were that big that they couldn't afford like more. Fuck. You gotta like reuse the memory cards.
So the technology of the 60s obviously evolved, and modern technology could easily replicate or surpass it, and it was used in the Apollo missions. But the point being is that that's the explanation, is that
Look, I
don't like that. I don't buy it.
I get the explanation. I definitely think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
okay.
I think that they encountered some sort of life forms up there, and they were like,
Woo!
"You motherfuckers! I bet you best not. I'll give you one. We get one chance." Well, isn't that like weird? How like remember like it was the feed cut for like 17
know.
minutes or something,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
and they come back. We're like, "We're leaving. We are leaving. The Eagle is leaving."
Yep.
So I think that they probably encountered some sort of. I'm getting a little jump of the gun here, but this is
Sure.
we're debunking the theories.
Yeah, each one.
But
Yeah.
I think that they encountered some sort of life forms or something there, and they were
Anomaly,
like, and they
some
were
sort
like,
of thing.
don't fucking come back, like destroy your shit, make it so you can't come back. Like we'll let you leave.
So
But, like-
they just happen to speak English.
I'm not saying they're speaking English. I'm not saying
Hola, Apollo. Hola, Apollo.
and it's like, how do you say like get the fuck out of here? in Spanish?
Vete la verga.
Aquí una pelota.
I mean, obviously, if there's some sort of advanced species that you don't necessarily need to communicate with
Right.
that word.
Just,
you can
just
be like,
show them your guns and
No,
like
no, it's like-
they're like,
it's-
oh right,
Yeah.
we're out of here.
Imagine like sending a concept. Like if you're an advanced species, why don't you just send a concept of like get the fuck out of here.
Do you think there's species that can just send concepts?
100%.
I mean, I think all they had to do is like show him some sort of like gun, weapon, like.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you.
No, but have you ever?
I'm just saying that's wild.
Have you ever had a scenario like where like your wife gives you a look and you get like a full 3D?
Yeah, but that's your wife that you've known for so long. So that's why you get the concept.
No, but I'm saying
the thought.
If that can happen, if you can get that concept like a full like exactly what she needs, like food now, motherfucker, and this is what I want. And, like this whole thing, you're like, oh shit, yes,
yeah.
Like if you an advanced species, why couldn't they do the same thing? Because they're far more advanced than us.
Yeah, very true.
You know, or like maybe that's the way that they communicate. I'm saying I've experienced that type of communication where it's literally just there's no fucking words. And
where
I get
you're communicating
without
a paragraph,
sound, just a thought.
Yeah, I get a paragraph of fucking data. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm saying why wouldn't it
it's
not
possible.
be possible?
Yeah. I actually love that concept.
No,
just
obviously, like
boom, there you go. Like, and then you're like, oh shit, okay, I gotta get the fuck out of here.
You know them so well that you can do it. But hey, advanced species, if they're on the fucking moon, and I'm not gonna put that past them.
Okay.
But why haven't we seen them?
We have.
Is this Eric's like HD
We don't-
fucking like,
First of all.
UFOs aren't real? Because we're like,
Here we go again.
Why doesn't fucking
They like hide on the dark side of the
Like, why are
moon,
they on, like,
like
Cribs
fucking with
episodes?
Transformers, and they're like hiding with the Decepticons.
I mean, why is there such a stigma about the dark side of the moon? Why are we so stuck on it?
And why did the Pentagon confirm that there is UFOs?
Yeah, Eric.
Oh God, I hate you guys so much.
It's a fact. It's a proof.
I know you just don't want to believe it.
Yeah, but I like you. But I hate you so much.
Eric's like, next recording, I'm sick. Sorry, I'm not gonna make it.
On my own vacay. Okay, next one is the visual inconsistencies in footage and photos.
Okay.
And now we did touch on stars.
We did the stars. We did
Now
the
there's the
flag.
other part. Yeah, we did the flag already, and there's the other part, which is the shadows.
Oh yeah, we didn't go
Right, we didn't really touch on the shadows. Yeah. So,
we didn't.
so in a lot of the podcasts, and so like Candace Owen kind of goes into that the shadows, and we couldn't get through the belt, and that sort of thing. And so we're gonna kind of go over her points.
Yeah.
And also Rogan brought it up in one of his episodes, and it was the inconsistency in the lighting and shadows in the Apollo mission, in the photos and the video. They highlighted the issues like non-parallel shadows, where some theorists claim that could only be produced by studio lighting and not by the sun.
How the fuck do they know though?
So,
I know the sun,
Yeah.
and these angles.
True.
I mean, how do you really know? What is this, like a fucking space?
So,
dust and
but
shit?
the
I don't
idea
know.
would be that the sun's in a certain location, and then the shadow should only be on this side. But in the photos, the shadows were kind of everywhere.
Well, here's the thing. Also, it's
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is like for where we like. It's a little different, like on Earth, because like you have an atmosphere and you have like it doesn't
That's
feel
right.
like you're in motion. But
That's right.
I feel like you're on a much smaller thing. There's no atmosphere. There's not that doesn't have to go through any. It's not going through clouds. Not going through fucking protective
True.
radio. Like
But the concept is the same. Okay, if you have something here and you put a light in front of it, the shadow is going to be over here.
Totally
Right.
And if you move it, the shadow moves, right?
Totally.
But it's going to be behind it.
But we don't know the concept of space.
I'm
That's
saying,
right.
like,
Yeah,
space is a variable. It's like, have you
know,
ever been on
yeah.
the moon, like taking selfies? I don't know what the lighting's like. I don't know how that's going to work.
Correct.
So I'm saying, like, there
It's
is
so hard to get that Instagram angle up
and
there.
the thing is, like they even said before, it's like the surface of the moon is white, so it's reflecting light.
Right.
And so it's like the surface is so bright. Their suits are all white, so bright.
Right.
I think is it possible for little like reflective anomalies
Fangs.
to happen? I'm saying
Yeah.
it's possible. Like imagine doing it like in a bunch of mirrors around you, and you're like, wow, the shadows aren't right.
I mean, the point being is also I don't think we would take Candace Owens.
I mean, she has no like. Candace Owens is.
She's not a physicist.
She also has
so
the
we
same
don't-
amount of data, like the same amount of like
Yes,
clout that
as
we do.
us.
Except for like people like her more.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, even though like I don't like I'm
Yeah.
like,
No, Sean's on the right track, which is like if you look at it from a physics standpoint, we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know, and there's shadows on the moon appear non-parallel due to the uneven surface, which causes a shadow in different directions.
It's also too like a weird thing is that like I don't know if it makes a difference or not, but like the moon. The moon doesn't rotate. The moon is stationary.
Yeah.
The moon is stationary in orbit.
Correct.
So it stays. That's why you only see one face of the moon. That's why there's the dark side of the moon that never gets light. It doesn't rotate.
Right.
Whereas the Earth rotates. I don't know if that has an effect. I don't know.
Right.
I'm not I'm a fucking
And
scientist.
we're using our data based on Earth.
Yeah, and
we don't know.
Our only reference point is like
Earth.
Maybe the shadows on Jupiter are like fucking wild. I don't know.
We have no idea. So I guess the point of the whole thing is that we just don't know. We don't know. We don't know what
that's fair. You don't know, but like the concept is still the concept. Fucking shadow is a shadow. Casted by a light shining on you, it's going to be behind you. There's absolutely no physical way that I can think of that the shadow is going to be on the side or in the front of you.
But here's the thing: it's like you had a concept. You have a concept of like temperature, and you're like, hell yeah. But then like, let's say you go to space, and you're like, wow, your concept of temperature is shattered because it's negative 200 degrees, and you're like, what? Like the sun's shining on me. Why am I not warm?
That's measurable, and that is understandable. That the temperature would be so much lower up there. It's understandable.
How is it understandable?
Just based on the episode number 1. Go back and listen to it.
I love the plug. Yeah.
That was like the greatest no answer ever.
Yeah.
Go back to episode 1, bitch.
But we also don't know. We don't know the reflection of like the surface.
Yeah, there's a lot of factors. There's just factors that
We don't know.
I can see
We
there
just
being
don't
an
know.
No,
We don't know the
that's-
mountain fucking reflection of the sun into, like, you know what I mean? Maybe there's a crater and or a mountain.
Sea of tranquility.
Sea of tranquility. You know, there's fucking mountains that are bigger than the what's the big one here?
Mount Everest.
There you go. What's the big one on this one we're on? Earth 1.
This one.
But there's reflections that we don't know, and we don't know about it, and we don't know anything about it. So it's kind of like physics.
Okay,
5,000 years ago.
when you look at some of
We
these
have no idea.
pictures, unless you have any other pictures that we're talking about, but these are basically
These are the ones.
ones. So like the shadows all kind of point in the right direction. There's not freaking mountains right next to them.
That you can see. Oh my God, Eric, are we in a chord?
I know.
Can we take a picture of this moment?
Listen.
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving on.
I think
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, we know that Jorge's wrong. Based on what we've learned.
Yeah, based on the data.
The data shows that Jorge is always wrong.
Okay, so the next item on this list is the suspicious behavior of astronauts. So we never talked about this in episode 1.
Weirdly enough, we didn't.
While they're on the moon, or you're saying like afterwards?
No, afterwards.
Yeah.
Afterwards.
Press conferences.
So, and this is from one of Rogan's things, but also everybody who's researched it knows that there are post-mission interviews of the astronauts, specifically Buzz and Neil Armstrong.
Yeah, not the guy who was like in the fucking the guy who got left behind. Poor
And it
guy.
was noted that they were nervous, uncomfortable, and evasive in all their interviews after they came back.
I'm telling you, bro, when a superior species is like, get the fuck off my
In
rock.
addition, there was a Buzz Aldrin incident where there was somebody heckling him. And you could go see it on YouTube right now. Yeah. And he's like, no, was the moon landing real? Like, why did you bring moon rocks back? La, la, la. And he's like, and he punched him.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
And he punched him. And it kind of like, I mean, it's debatable what he said.
Yeah.
But this was like many years later, right?
Yeah, many years later.
Many years
like
later.
old,
Yeah. Many years later. But it's debatable what he said because it was kind of like out of context. And it was like, I'm not talking about it, or I'm not, I refuse to, it's
classified.
It's classified. Yes, exactly. Things like that. And so conspiracy theorists like jumped on it.
Oh yeah, they're like any
It was
nugget.
like,
You're
this
like,
motherfucker didn't go, and he's just fed up now.
Yeah.
But it's also like, maybe he's got anger issue. Maybe he was drunk. I don't know.
So it's a little bit of both, where it was their interviews after were uncomfortable. They were awkward. They didn't really want to talk about landing on the moon. We don't have a lot of interviews of what it was
Which
like
is
on the
very
moon.
strange. Like it was.
It seems like you'd be like
such a historical.
Bro, I literally fucking.
You go to the bar.
Sean and I fucking did like 9 holes.
I would be at a bar like, you know who I am?
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a big deal. Ask me. Just go ahead and ask. Ask me. Ask me.
Sea of Tranquility.
I took a dump there. I am the Sea of Tranquility.
I am the Sea of Tranquility.
What do you want to know?
Anyway, so that's
Yeah, no, that's definitely
that
very
feeds
strange.
into the conspiracies of it.
The other one where he like punches the guy, I think, for years and years and years of people telling you like, oh, this is fake, that was fake or whatever.
piss me off.
Yeah, it just gets to you.
I'd be pissed. Yeah.
Just
but-
imagine your entire life's work.
And
Yeah.
I was like, literally, your greatest
fake.
achievement. You're like, you lie, piece of shit.
Fake.
It's fake.
And he's like 18,
fraud.
and you're like, what are you? And like, he doesn't work, and he's got like a fucking political
I'd
science.
fucking punch him
degree,
too.
And you're like, fucking shut
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, I don't like that one because I would punch the shit out of that person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
And the fact that he threw a good punch, and he like was unfazed by it, I was like, they don't make men like that anymore. That's like a dying breed right there.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on from that one because
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I
And
don't like
you know
it
what I
either.
mean? Fuck them. Fuck those hecklers.
I don't like it either.
I mean, how much? No offense to you guys who go out and heckle astronauts, but like, you spend your time and you go and you follow this person, and then you heckle them about their entire
life's
life
work.
and
But
then
it's also like, do you know how difficult it is
you
to
know
be
what I
an
mean?
astronaut?
Yes, you have to be
You
a
have to-
fighter pilot
and a genius.
First off, yes.
And you're literally
Yeah.
smarter than
Physical
99%
specimen.
of people. Yeah,
Yes.
fighter pilot.
Yes.
Be able to withstand like 200
Yes.
Gs or
Yeah.
20 Gs or whatever
Yeah.
the fuck it is.
You can't fucking smoke a cigarette.
I know. It's like, God, like,
damn it.
I would die.
Yeah.
Like, they
right.
would put me in a little thing that like spins you around. Dead. 100% dead. Shit myself. Dead.
Okay, so and then one of the bigger arguments is that, and this is from Candace Owens and from other people, which is that the Apollo moon landings were faked because there's no way they could have gotten through the Van Allen radiation belt.
Yeah.
I didn't
And
know what
we
that
didn't
is.
go
What was
through
that?
this at all.
So remember remember how we went over the Hollow Earth episode?
Oh yeah,
That's right.
And also in the flat Earth, I think we went
Yeah.
over that, right?
Yeah, there's a protective magnetic field that is protecting us from like a majority, not all of it, like because obviously you can still get skin cancer and stuff from the radiation of the sun, but like, from a vast majority of the radiation being
Right.
emitted. Because like if you look at what the sun is a giant nuclear reaction.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it's just shitting radiation everywhere, just like fucking, like it's literally just a ball of radiation. So there's a ridiculous amount of radiation that.
It's protecting us, or so to speak.
Well,
I mean,
there's
kind
a
of.
field around Earth that's protecting us.
Yeah.
So if you go outside of that, like how do you survive?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
what?
But
so
I
is
think their suits,
this is
their suits were like lead lined, weren't they?
Yeah. So,
I don't know.
but that's the theory, and that's what is being continually proposed by people who go, "Oh, well, maybe it was fake."
Oh, they go out and they're just like, yeah, this is like just
Yeah.
dead.
Yeah, that's right. So, the idea is that it's a lethal radiation level. So if we go out and there's nothing,
No protective thing, you're fucked.
yeah, exactly. So some people say that the level of radiation is so high that suits don't even help. Spacecraft don't even help. Especially those that were available in 1960.
Yeah, they're like made of
Right.
like,
Or
fucking,
69.
Like, there's like
Yeah.
aluminum foil.
Yeah, yeah. It's like Levi's. Fucking,
Stitched in.
yeah.
That looks like you're tight, right?
So the idea is that
Levi.
the technology that existed then couldn't get us through the Van Allen belt. It suggests that prolonged exposure, because they were there. Remember, the trip took 3 days.
Yeah, totally.
So they were 3 days, maybe 2, because they weren't always in the Van Allen belt, but
Yeah.
maybe 2.
But then they had to go back.
Yeah, they gotta. Okay, so
So it's
48
like-
hours each way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the Van Allen belt with Levi jeans, and
Their like legs are fucking
yeah. So the
toast.
idea is that they couldn't have made it.
I mean, that's a plausible argument.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I can't
how-
even
I don't
speak
know.
anything to this. I didn't even know about this fucking belt till now.
But like,
I didn't really get it.
You look at those suits, like they're fucking big as shit and
I
bulky
know.
as fuck. Like,
Yeah.
what if it was just like all lead?
Yeah.
But they're like 0 G, so you
Yeah.
can like move around with
Sure.
like 200 pounds of
Hop
lead
around.
like, strapped to your back. I have no idea.
But now, if that was a true conspiracy theory, that means they never went outside of our orbit.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Like they didn't even go into space.
No, but here's the thing: is like, how do they know what the radiation levels are there?
There you go.
If you can't go out of split, like who's out there with like a Geiger counter, like, oh, what's the radiation levels?
It's true. That's right, and that's the debunking of it.
Yeah.
Is
unless there's some like
nobody knows
satellite or something
what is
sending data
dangerous
back
levels and what is not.
Well, people know what dangerous.
The measure. Well, I mean the measurement.
No one knows. Like unless you
like
I don't even, could you send a probe out there? But then you have to admit that, so you can get out there, but they didn't go because they.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're trying to prove.
Yeah.
Well, this is from NASA, and it's that the Apollo missions were meticulously planned to pass through the thinnest parts of the belts. So you can almost measure where the thin parts are of the radiation and pass through those, reducing the time that they were spent in those intense zones. And the total time that they said that they spent in those zones were 1 to 2 hours total.
I know, and
there and back total.
It's also funny that, like, look, I love doing this and I love talking shit, but it's like, it's a bunch of like, normal plebs like us, and then like literally the vast majority, and then like the smartest humans alive. And, like, who were like planning this
and
shit
like
out.
20,000 of them.
I know, and like all of the smartest people you've ever could imagine together. And then we're like, fucking impossible.
Yeah, that's right.
Of course you couldn't do that.
Can't do it.
So the debunking of it is that they planned it, and they planned it, and it was only 1 to 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm sure they thought, if this is a real thing, they thought of it.
Yeah,
it wasn't something they're like, shit.
Right.
We didn't think about the radiation. No.
Yeah. What's Joe's team doing?
No, over there they're like playing like fucking like pong.
I know, what do you do? What do you do in the 60s?
Yeah. No, they're just like drinking.
Yeah. What's that little spinner? Fucking top spin.
They go like slapjacks, whatever they fucking call them. With the
Cracker Jack. No,
something like that.
Yeah.
Toma todo in Spanish.
Toma todo?
Toma todo.
Yeah, it sounds so much cooler. I'm like, we're like slapjacks. Toma todo.
Toma todo, mi hermano, mi amore.
Mr. Steal Girl over here.
That's why they call it the love language.
Yeah.
Stay away from my wife, all right? You're too beautiful.
So, in addition to that, the spacecraft was designed for radiation shielding.
That's what I'm saying.
So they planned it. It's not like
I could
so
see
the
that.
guys are building a radiation shield spacecraft, and then there's got to be another team going, okay, these homies are building the spacecraft to.
And they're testing it too.
For sure.
There's got to be like, let's put a block of plutonium on top of the ship and see if like it fucking gets through it.
All right,
they've got to be testing it.
Candace Owens, come back.
Jesus
Come
Come
back.
Clickbait.
Yeah. So anyway, so the idea is that they received minimal radiation.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, you guys in accord?
Once again, it's like this.
I could see that.
Whole room, like a whole fucking battalion, $28 billion worth of the smartest humans on Earth.
Yeah,
and it was a bunch of like regular Joes like us.
We'll go with them.
Yeah, we're working like 9 to 5s. Like, I'm gonna go with those guys.
Yeah. Okay,
the rocket scientists.
Yeah. Okay, so then, kind of towards the end of this, I had actually had ChatGPT scrape all 2,000 of his episodes.
Nice.
And
Rogan?
Rogan?
Yeah.
Did it
yeah,
like
Rogan.
3 seconds?
Yeah, and
I know, right? 20 seconds later, it's like, here's what I found.
Trying to, it's amazing what technology we have today to be able to do that. And so, in the analysis recently, he came out and said that he no longer believes it.
He no longer believes that
it's fake.
Oh, that it's fake.
So he is now on board with that. We went to the moon.
Okay.
So, and here's his quote, right? And it's from episode 1647 of the Joe Rogan Experience. He says, quote, "I don't think the moon landing is fake anymore. I used to think it was fake. I really did. But then I started talking to a lot of really smart people about it, and they explained why it would have been nearly impossible to fake it. And the evidence that we did go is overwhelming."
See, yeah.
And that's Joe.
I think I don't even remember what my prognosis was in the first episode. But like now, I'm like, why? I'm 2 years wiser.
Yeah. You're 100 conspiracies in.
Dude, I'm like, dude, there's so many people that are far they're so much smarter. Like, I'm a smart guy. There's some people so much smarter than us.
Yeah.
It does put us
Like,
in our place.
And
a
like
little bit.
anything that I would think of, like, oh, well, what about that? Like, they were like, dude, that was on like the drawing board before we even like built the fucking ship. Like, we already knew about anything that we could possibly think of. They thought of 100 different things more than that.
Yeah.
Like, you can imagine like the amount of the sheer fucking man hours, and these people were working. Like, especially because you're racing Russia. It's like country pride. It's the president's up your ass. Like, what fucking, we need results. You have to make it.
Yeah.
They're working 15-hour days for 5 years. Like, they have thought of it all. So I personally think, I know I'm just jumping in here. I personally think they did go.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think they got there. And I think there was some shit there that was like, yo, you're not supposed to be here.
Okay.
Like, get the fuck out of here. Don't come back.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's the cut feed. I think there was some shit on audio, and I think Buzz and like Finn were like, there's some shit yo, Houston, there's something happening here. Like, we don't know what's going on. And they were like, get the fuck out, don't come back. And then they were like, the technology was lost. And they're like, okay, we're out of here. And that's why
And that's why they never went back?
Yeah. I don't think they ever did go back. I think, obviously, Eric said there was all these other moon missions. And I think
I mean, it's
documented, but supposedly.
No, but I think there's a reason why it's not very
stopped.
mainstream.
Yeah.
It's not, you don't really know about it. It's not like, it's like, I only thought of the one.
Yeah.
And I was like, and there was the one that failed. And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I think that there was something there, some sort of extraterrestrial being, some sort of base or some shit, because you've seen all the satellite footage, and there's like structures and shit that kind of look like what the fuck is that? So I don't know. That's my view.
okay.
I think they went.
Well, the good news is that Sean now believes we went to the moon.
100%.
Yeah.
And that was a big.
I
feel like it was a big step.
I totally believe they went there.
Yeah. We went to the moon.
I also agree that we went there.
Yeah.
I think I said that on the first episode too.
Yeah. You were definitely on my side.
Yeah.
last
I
time.
don't. Although I would love to believe with Sean that there was something there, some other beings, but I don't know. I don't see that. I don't think so.
No.
I don't think so.
Plain
But
James
it is.
over here. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome to the Plain Jane podcast.
Like, yeah, we went to the moon, and then
We came back.
fucking science. All right, boys. Catch you next time on the fucking. This is Talk About History and Nothing Changed podcast.
NPR.
It's PBS.
Hello, welcome to the NPR radio. We bring you live from the studio.
I know. We're just gonna be reading from the history.
Okay,
books.
keep going, Jorge. Sorry, we.
What? So what was I gonna say?
You believe we went. You don't believe that there was beings there.
Yeah.
You just think that.
I do think that they went back. I actually do think
technology.
I actually
The
do think that the
17
U.S.
missions?
has been back and other countries have been there,
Yeah.
but that
Well, that's
you know,
a good question. I don't even know. We should research that.
yeah.
Which countries
I just
have been there?
I just figure
Russia,
like,
China, maybe?
why wouldn't Russia and China go?
Yeah, for sure. We're all like in some way. We're like games.
Yeah.
We're bad. Who's bad? Who's the best?
You got nuclear nuclear base? We do too.
We got
Oh, you went to the moon? Oh, I do too. Like,
Fuck, you want to fucking? I build ships.
yeah. I bet you there's something up, some sort of like military.
Just like a little.
Yeah, like some sort of little
outpost
base out there. Yeah,
They
yeah.
like put like landmines. They're like fucking China. Okay, you want to come check out the moon?
Okay, I reloaded.
Okay. They like left. They left the dude up there like, money motherfucker, like just waiting.
I got to tell you some info that just came off the press here.
Really?
No other country has been to the moon.
Sketch.
No, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's what I'm saying, man.
That's even more.
That's crazy.
That's the sketchiest.
Isn't that
information.
weird?
That is
That
very
is the
weird.
That is a
Sketch.
weird thing.
That's like saying that we put up some just like satellites up there. Nobody else puts up satellites. No other country
They're
wants
like,
to
well,
have some sort of
America
that
beats
true?
us. America beats us. Fucking.
yeah. Fuck it, I'm
no
out.
country's been.
Sketch.
No, that's not true. It can't be true.
That's hella sketch.
It can't be true.
You're like ChatGPT.
I
ChatGPT. Error.
mean, India's trying to go by 2026.
India's trying to go. Why?
No.
That's crazy.
That's a sketch. Did like Russia like collapse by the time?
I mean,
that
they
this
have
happened,
probes. They have probes.
Yeah,
and,
but who
and
gives a fuck about a probe? I can make
machines
a probe.
have made it.
Yeah.
You know, in drones and stuff like that. But no.
I mean, they
no
made it to Mars too, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but no man-made other than the U.S.
no, I don't believe that. Man.
Mars.
Really?
It's tight.
Yeah. All right.
What's your take?
All right. I think we went to the moon all those times.
All 12 times?
And it goes back to the same argument, which was there was no reason to go back. Financially, societally, if that's a word. Societally, like meaning nobody wanted to, nobody cared.
We did.
Yeah.
There was
It's
no
over.
there's no reason to go back. The only new found thing is terraforming Mars. That Musk is
Well, the thing
proposing.
the thing
Yeah.
about
you know?
Mars is that's different is that like Mars has like
A little bit more life sustainability.
well there's like ice and shit there.
yeah.
Ice?
Ice.
Yeah.
So there's
And
like
it's a little bit
frozen
more
water.
habitable.
So like
Okay.
like literally based on what they found is that it's possible that human-esque life could have lived there prior.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously it's so funny and like that's why I think like the scientists are so interesting. They're like, oh well, life is not possible there. I'm like, well, our life isn't possible.
True.
But a different kind of
It's,
life.
I know it's just like everything. It's so
Yeah.
funny, like how it's like, literally like the human condition is so conceited.
Yeah.
No, life could not exist there. Like no, like how are you gonna like pretend that you know all
Yeah,
forms of life?
true.
Like fucking bacteria, like literally floating on fucking asteroids for millions of years, and
Yeah.
they come to Earth and land on Earth, and they find it, and it's like this like simple
Yeah.
bacteria. So it's like how are you gonna pretend that? Oh, okay, we can live, but if bacteria, which we consider a life form, an organism, it's
Right.
a living organism that breeds other organisms, life creates life,
Yeah.
how are you going to say that life couldn't exist somewhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Bacteria, we consider bacteria a life form, so.
So I'll give you a little hot take. I do believe that if there was an alien race,
It'd be an HD.
I do believe
Be in the moon?
I do believe that maybe they could have visited there, but our concept of
At the same time? At the
No.
same time that we visited?
No. Our concept of time, I believe, is so skewed
Oh, for sure.
that it probably was 1,000, 2,000 years ago, and we don't even like our concept of humanity is so short.
Well, it's
Like we believe that
also
it's so
wrong, yeah.
and we believe that it's like this is since World War II, and like you know what I mean. And that was
That's
like
when life
100
started.
I was like, yeah.
I know Adam
Yeah.
was born
Yeah.
on the fucking beaches of Normandy.
I go, if Earth has been around and sustaining life for millions of years,
totally.
then there's a major gap.
Oh, 100%.
There's a major gap of no historical data because humans didn't write it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I believe in that gap. Does that make sense?
But what's in that gap?
That aliens visited? Is that what you're talking about?
Extraterrestrial possible visitation of checking out our moons, making some of those the landscape was different. There's these huge valleys. There's possibly
All the way there.
man-made, not man-made, but
like life form
intellectual made rivers or ravines, etc. There's a possibility.
Structures sort of like
Structures.
pyramid style.
Yes, exactly. Well, I mean, man.
That look the same
Yeah.
across the globe.
Yeah, maybe.
Interesting, Eric. Elaborate on this, please.
Yeah.
But as
Interesting
far
how
as
these superstructures
Yeah.
were made. I don't know.
As far-
Wow.
as far as the moon landing, we went to the moon. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
We
I'm
went
in
to the
agreement.
moon. Yeah,
More than once.
more than once.
Yep.
I'm going.
But
I would say
what
5
do you
or 6
what do you think?
times.
Only the U.S. went, or
Fuck, that's a great question.
Dude, the fact that I can't imagine.
The Russians
imagine
are
the
so
Russians giving
secretive,
up.
though. That
they probably-
I agree.
I
They probably went and they're like, "Fuck it, we're not gonna tell them. We're not gonna tell them.
Like, I can see him like walking over and like just taking the American flag out.
We're
Like,
not gonna tell them." They're like, "Hey, we're gonna put this case of Bitcoin right here.
Satoshi with the, like with the Russians.
Just a big old crate of Bitcoin."
It's like 1 million
Yeah,
Bitcoin.
we understand that doesn't make sense. Okay, we're making a joke. Okay, we're gonna get it like flack. I get it. It's a digital currency. I get it.
No one has physical Bitcoin, Eric.
You can't put it in a box, Eric.
That doesn't exist.
Anyways, yeah. But maybe the Russians went. That's a good point.
I think they did.
They were the first ones in space. Well, I can't say like
Why?
they
I know. Why did they give up?
Yeah.
Anyways. All right, there you go, guys. That's what we got. Hopefully we put this to rest.
I think it's dead.
Yeah.
And all of our followers, our Patreons, our Discord members, all of our Instagram followers, hopefully they are on board now. We went to the moon.
I mean, we solved it.
we went to the moon.
Can we just give her out? Like, I really want to buy a stamp that's like that we get on the script. It's like solved.
Yeah.
Like, I want to
Solved.
solve
Just like
stamp.
put it on the video somehow.
I know,
Just like,
just like, I know, like a super solved.
All right, well, we'll catch you guys next time.
Yeah. Night.